my gosh, I'm so excited to see you all again. It's your girl, the Jackie Jackson, real estate expert, coach and mentor, tax deed genius, you name it. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, I'm so excited to be here with y'all. If this is your first time visiting the channel, hey, welcome. Good to see you. Nice to meet you. If this is your second time, third time, you've been a subscriber for a while, I just want to take some time out to thank you very much for supporting my YouTube channel and watching my videos. You guys have amazing comments. You have any questions, just drop them in the comments and myself or my team will get back to you. So what am I all about? I'm always talking about real estate, always talking about how you can build generational wealth. And I empower you with information that's going to help you accomplish those goals for yourself and for your family, right? So, as a full time real estate investor, I know I don't look like whatever people think I should look like, but I am. So, I'm a full time real estate investor. I purchased my first property in 2006. I think, yeah, 2006, my first deal. And I've been investing in real estate ever since. So I'm really, really passionate about sharing this information with you guys. So I'm actually answering a question that seems to be a hot topic for a lot of people, which is passive income, right? So passive income, let's talk about it. We're going to be talking about some ways that you can generate passive income through real estate. All right. So generate passive income through real estate. All right. And I'm going to be referring specifically to residential real estate because you got commercial real estate, agricultural real estate, you have industrial real estate, and then you have residential real estate, right? So there's different types of real estate. So specifically, we're going to be talking about residential real estate today. But before we jump into that, we're going to be talking about what in the world is passive income? Let's define that, shall we? So I looked it up just so I could sound smart and stuff. And I think you guys should do the same. Just go ahead and fact check me, if you will. But passive income is income that is earned with little to minimal work, right? It doesn't mean that there is not work. It just says minimal or little work, right? So that's like the ideal situation. Everybody wants, a whole lot of like return on their money and a whole lot of profit with like this much work, right? So in the real world, is that really a thing? No, I'm telling you right now, it really isn't. All right. You want to put in some effort to get anything that you want out of life, not just in real estate, but everywhere. All right. Now, can you benefit from the fruits of your labor? Absolutely. You know, will there become a point in your journey where your investments are generating a return where you can kind of like just, go on cruise control for a second? Yeah, that's when it becomes passive income. So let's talk about it, shall we? Let's get it. All right. So with residential real estate, there's a couple of different ways that you could have passive income. All right. So one of the ways that I personally like to have passive income, because not only do I want the passive income, like the money's coming to me every single month. I did the work, I assessed the risk, I did all of my research. Now I have a property. How do I generate income from this property with minimal amount of time? Like, I don't want to babysit my properties, all right? So one of the things that comes to mind, obviously, is to hire like a property management company. A lot of people are kind of familiar with how that works, especially currently right now. Like if you currently rent, right? You're either paying your rent to your landlord or you're paying it to a representative of your landlord, like a contractor or some kind of property management company. So that's cool. That's one way how to do it. But even that to me seems like it's just too much work. I'd rather not. So for me, I actually love to owner finance my properties. I love to offer my properties and be the banker for the buyer. How cool is that? So here's how this works. So you have your property and you want to sell it, right? And there are more unqualified buyers than there are actually qualified buyers. Yeah, right. But the unqualified just means that they just don't meet all of the requirements with a traditional financial institution, with a traditional bank. Doesn't mean that they don't have money. Doesn't mean that they're not gainfully employed. Doesn't mean that their employment is not verifiable and all of that cool stuff, right? Because I've done plenty of deals with individuals who just doesn't, meet all of the qualifications from the bank, but they have all of the other components. So that's called, you could do something really cool and creative with those individuals. So owner financing is where you become the bank and you actually sell your property and create an actual mortgage for your borrower, the buyer of your property. So you sell them the property for a specific price, including a specific interest rate. And now that borrower is paying you back monthly payments with interest. Now that right there, boys and girls, is amazing passive income. Okay. Every month it just comes rolling in, rolling it, rolling it. So that's really cool. But of course, I did the work up front, right? The work was done up front to set it up, to actually, put all the paperwork and stuff in place. So was it really passive? There was some activity in order to get that to be structured that way. So another way for you to generate some passive income, all right? So I'm going to keep doing my little air quotes, if you will, because remember, you still got to put in some work to get this done. All right, another way is actually to rent. Now, most people understand the model of renting to like one family at a time, but there's other different categories of renting property. So you have long-term rentals, you have short-term rentals. Short-term rentals are like Airbnb or like vacation rentals, stuff like that. Long-term rentals is when you're renting for, longer than 6 months and beyond. But even if you're just renting to one family, there's still a subcategory, if you will, for long-term rental. So take some notes, all right? So you can rent your property per room, rent per room. Yeah, kind of like co-ed sharing, like what people do at colleges, like people have roommates, so they all share like the common area, if you will, and they all have their individual bedrooms, right? So the master bedrooms, that one probably pays a little bit more, and then all the other bedrooms, have their own rental fee. So you sublet it out to like different people. Okay, so you have multiple arrangements per person. And sometimes you may even do them furnished, or maybe you do unfurnished. A lot of people do furnished rooms, right? Especially like up north where I'm from in Brooklyn, like housing is so expensive that a lot of people will rent a furnished room because it's more affordable to do that than to have their own apartment or their own house or something like that. Okay, so that's one way. Another way is to rent per bed. Huh? What? What are you talking about, Jackie? Okay, hear me out. So this is like different models, of course, right? Different kind of like passive income structures and models. So when you're renting per bed, that's a business, all right? So all of this is a business, but specifically when you're renting per bed, now you're getting into a specific business model. So where I have seen where some investors have rented per bed is a assisted living facility, like a residential assisted living facility. So you have like 4 bedrooms, and in each bedroom you'll have 2 occupants per bedroom. So then now you have 8, and each of those 8 individuals are actually paying a monthly amount to the property owner to reside in that specific property, right? So that's like an assisted living facility, an independent living facility. Independent living facility is us for adults, of course, but it's not for elderly like the assisted living, or for seniors. This is for people who may be like in transition, maybe they're on some kind of social security or some kind of special program, but they can't afford to like have their own apartment, but they need the structure of like living in a nice, safe, clean house. So an independent living facility is also another particular business model. You can also do like a group home or a foster home or something like that, where you have multiple occupants living in the property. You're renting like per person or per bed, and now you are generating passive income for that particular property, which sometimes more than likely equates to more than if you just rented to like one family at a time. You think about it? That's pretty cool. Now, another passive income strategy is to do an option agreement with an option to purchase a property sometime in the future. You're actually going to allow someone to purchase a property from you sometime in the future if they meet certain qualifications, right? Which is determined in the option agreement itself. So, an option agreement is kind of like, I know you guys know like layaway. That's the one that I kind of equate it to, like as an analogy, is the easiest way for us to like explain it. So an option agreement is like layaway, right? So somebody could put like a deposit down, and it's not really a deposit, it's a fee. Okay, because you want to make sure you use the correct terminology, get yourself in trouble. So the person pays a fee for the right to purchase the property at a certain price sometime in the future. During the period of time, they can reside in the property, they can love on the property, they can live in it, make it their own, all of that cool stuff. And then at the end of the option agreement, that is the time that they're supposed to exercise their right to buy or exercise their right not to buy. Okay, it's a thing, right? So one of the properties I had is I had a property that I purchased from a tax lien auction, and then what I did is I refinanced the property. I took out some of the equity out of it, and then I put a tenant in there. And then now that tenant was paying me every month, and then the funds from the rental payment was going to pay down that mortgage. Very cool, right? So I also gave them an option agreement. So at the end of the term of their option agreement, they did not want to move forward with the purchase, which is okay because I get to like rent it out again. But what happens is when if they don't do that, they forfeit, right? They forfeit. It's non-refundable, the fee that you had collected from the option. That's pretty cool. So you can also do like another option again for another non-refundable fee and just kind of do it multiple times until you actually get the property. So, right. So it's kind of cool. I love it. Another way is very similar to owner financing is to actually offer your property like on a land contract. So a land contract is a little bit different than actually writing out a mortgage for your borrower because it's not a mortgage. They have to also meet certain conditions, and the land contracts identifies exactly what those conditions are. They still got to pay the taxes, they got to pay insurance, they got to pay all of these things, all of the maintenance and services for the property, but they don't own the property until they actually pay off in full. And then you actually transfer the ownership interest to that person after they've paid in full without any default. If you're doing owner financing, a lot of times you're transferring ownership to that person up front. And if they default, then you have to take legal action in order to collect the monies that you're owed. When you do a land contract, it's a lot easier because you did not give them a mortgage, nor did you transfer your ownership interest to them. So if they defaulted, then it's really just a simple process to have them be removed from the property or, whatever the law says, because we follow the law around these parts. Okay. All right. So passive income is pretty genius stuff, right? So we talked about owner financing, actually giving someone a mortgage and being the bank for your borrower. We talked about renting out your property, renting it out to a actual one family at a time. Or maybe you rent it out to one room at a time, kind of like college students, if you will, or like corporate executives, that kind of thing. We talked about long-term and short-term rentals, the difference between the two. Short-term rentals could be like a vacation home or Airbnb. Long-term rentals would be like, 6 months and beyond, that kind of thing. And even in the long-term rentals, it still doesn't have to be like one family at a time. It could be one room at a time, one bed at a time. It could be broken out into different models so that you can multiply your income per property. How cool is that? Then we also talked about option agreements, right? Giving someone an option and then a lease. So you make an arrangement with that individual and they are supposed to purchase when the option agreement expires. And if they don't, oh well. their option fee is not refundable at that time, and you get to do it all over again and collect another option fee from somebody else, which is kind of cool. And then lastly, we talked about land contracts, which is similar to doing owner financing, except we're not doing any mortgages to that person. We're not giving them any mortgage. We're giving them a land contract, which actually outlines the terms of the agreement, and they have to pay off in full before they get the property transferred into their name. So if there's any default or anything like that, or a breach of the agreement, you still own the property. So it's very, very low risk. Anyway, I hope you love all of these different examples of how you can generate passive income for real estate, residential real estate, right? So again, I say passive with my little air quotes because you do have to do some work up front, although the definition is minimal. It says minimal work. Yeah, you got to do some work. You got to do your, due diligence, your research, get all your paperwork in order and all that cool stuff in order for you to reap the benefits of earning income that way. All right. Well, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. I put out a video per week of all the goodies and all the updates, all that cool stuff. And then click on that notification bell. All right, so you can be notified when a new video is posted to the channel. And last but not least, check me out. Go to www.thejackyjackson.com. That's where you can learn more about me, full-time real estate investor, real estate coach, and expert. And you can also learn more about our course there, Tax Deed Genius. It is a 8-week online course, which I'm really excited about. 90 plus videos, totally comprehensive. We are discussing liens, deeds, and surpluses for all 50 states. I leave nothing, and I mean nothing, nothing unturned, right? So we discuss everything. It's a step-by-step hand holding, share your screen, case study, and you get to see all of the inside information about how to actually be successful in that particular strategy. All right. So again, this is Jackie Jackson, and I look forward to all your questions, your comments. Just drop them down there, right, in the comment section, and I will see you guys next week. Toodles.